Hey guys, it's Always Improving here, and today I'm super excited to show you a tour of, well, all of these sketchbooks. And yes, it's a lot, so this video might be a little long or maybe even a two-parter, but I'm so excited to show you the progression of my art since the beginning and since when I started keeping a sketchbook.
So let's just get right into it. I guess the first art I'm going to show wasn't ever really part of a sketchbook. It's just sort of my really old art. Some coloring pages, some doodles as a kid. There's a couple, this one has a bit of a story to it. I don't really remember it, but it looks like good and evil fighting. I made these characters actually. These ones are called baubles. There's a lot of different kinds. There's a wizard one, a mermaid one, and superhero. There's more and more. I even drew on the back of them. But yeah, when I was younger, I didn't really do art a lot. Just as much as a normal kid, I guess, you know, coloring pages and stuff. But this is kind of pre-focusing on art at all in my life. But let's move on from this into the first actual sketchbook I got. It was just a Canson XL, just a sketchbook.
I'm not sure the exact date, but I probably started the sketchbook when I started middle school. So when I was in 6th grade, like 5 years ago maybe. So it was a very long time ago. And the first two sketches that you can see are very much realistic. Realistic style. They don't look very real. But I probably referenced myself in both of these first two pages. And I also, here's the third page, I really liked to draw eyes. I'm not really sure why, but I really did, and they really interest me, all the colors they could be and the eyelashes, and so I drew a lot of those as well.
I started doing these. I did some screenshots from anime, just took them. I don't remember where this is from. Oh, it's from Sword Art Online, I think, because I don't remember what. But I liked grabbing random screenshots from anime and trying to draw them. I have quite a few of those actually. Let's see if we can find, yeah, here's another one, also SAO. Don't really recommend that show, but it's what I liked when I was a kid. Okay.
So kind of along the same line as the eyes, I also really wanted to draw hair realistically in the beginning. I'm not sure why this was exactly, but I would just pull images from either like Pinterest or just, I don't really know where else, probably Google, and try to copy them. I really didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't have a lot of like idea on form or anything, but that was where I started. But I also would just leave a lot of things unfinished. Even once I started getting into like a more anime style, I still didn't finish a lot of things in the sketchbook, and they're just kind of half-done ideas that I had or from a picture that I saw. None of them are super concrete. However, near the end of this sketchbook, I did start to finish a couple more, and I started to incorporate more color because I got these like markers for Christmas. Even though this is a sketchbook, for some reason I thought I could use like markers really well in it. But yeah, you can see that kind of progression at the end of the sketchbook more so.
So I remember at this point, I actually came back to it a couple like months later, and I did do these last few like later, so they're a little bit more finished and polished. I actually like this. This one's fun. I might do like a redraw of this. I like the concept, and I like the colors. I know her hand doesn't really make sense, and her neck's kind of, I don't know, thin, and it's just weird proportions, but it's a nice concept and it's pretty. But yeah, these last three I did later, or even maybe more, but I like these all. This one was directly from some sort of reference. I know that. I remember that. But it still looks pretty. Oh, I actually have a date in here, guys. My last sketch was on the 1st of, or not the 1st, it was on January 28th, 2017. So that means most of the sketchbook was done in 2016. Or even 2015, which is around when I thought like when I was in 6th or 7th grade. Yeah, that was around when all of this was done. Oh, I started watching Miraculous Ladybug then? Yeah, this is crazy. This is a really old sketchbook. But yeah, that's my first sketchbook, guys. So, pretty amazed that I still have it. There was a lot of unfinished works in here, but it's fine. So just a quick disclaimer, a lot of these are going to be out of order. Like, I don't know when exactly I did these in relation to that sketchbook, but here are some random, I think acrylic, but like craft paint acrylics I did. Actually, this might be, no, this is craft paint acrylics, yeah. But just like random things that I had in here. And there's another sketchbook that I had, but like got destroyed. So we're going to go through that one now. Yeah, as I said, it was destroyed, so I just have a bunch of papers lying around from it. So we're going to go through that right now and see how my style changes.
So this sketchbook was more of a pad of paper, that's why it kind of fell apart a little bit. But overall, I did a lot more figure studies in this and drew a lot more poses and things like that. And I think I did a little bit more at least, detailed work. It was still all in pencil for this sketchbook, but I did more detailed, more shading, and more fleshed out ideas. A lot of the stuff still wasn't finished, obviously. It was still like just some random pencil work, but a lot more of it felt a little bit more concrete than what I had been doing in the other sketchbook, the first sketchbook that I ever had.
And that is that whole sketchbook. Again, not very polished work, but that's what I did at that time. This next one was probably kind of like mixed in with all of those, but it's a much bigger sketchbook. I could probably fit more on the page, and I think I did more finished things in here, but we'll see. Let's see. Oh, I don't remember when I did these, but they're in here too. I just have like 2 random pastel-y drawings, but I don't know when I did these. Oh, again, miraculous ladybug stuff I drew. Let's see here, let me turn this actually.
So I would say this bigger sketchbook is pretty similar to the loose leaf papers that I just showed. It had the same level of detail and same level of finishedness. Like, there was still a lot that wasn't finished, but there were also pieces that I think that I did a good job adding detail to and developing into something more than just a sketch or like just a concept.
Wow, guys, look at this. This was like my first realistic portrait, I feel like, besides those 2 of my other ones. I actually signed it, NB. Wow, I think that might be the first time I ever did that, because that's how I sign my pieces now, but dang, I must have been pretty proud of that when I drew it. Oh my gosh, I loved this game so much. Mystic Messenger, I still like it, but I haven't played it in a while. It's a phone game, if you're wondering. It's like an app. There's another character from that game. Oh, I signed this one as well. Must have really liked that. So around this time, I discovered the music group, the K-pop group BTS, and I think I did a couple of portraits of them.
After those finished couple of works, I moved into this stage of my art where I tried to do digital, and mostly it was on my phone, but I would just do traditional line work and then transfer it with a photo to my phone and then color it digitally, and that was pretty interesting, but I never really stuck with it. I do think it's kind of fun, but it wasn't ever really for me, I think.
Oh my gosh, guys, I was so proud of this piece when I did it, and I was so sad because one day it got all ripped up. I don't remember what happened, but like it got torn and crumbled. Oh, I was so sad. And it looks like I never finished this sketchbook. I actually have a ton of pages left. I could probably go back and do it, but it's been under my bed for so long because it's like an old sketchbook in my eyes, so I probably won't ever finish it. I have a lot more right now, but maybe one day. So along with that, that watercolor painting I think I did in that old sketchbook, I did a couple more, but on actual watercolor paper. These watercolors are very cheap, I think, but either way, I didn't know how to use them. I think I use them a bit more like acrylics. You can kind of see it in a lot of these.
Along with those watercolor paintings, I also did this marker piece. It was kind of more detailed and more finished than a lot of my other pieces, but nothing too special and pretty messy still. I also did this color pencil with Prismacolors. This picture was really pretty, and I really love how I did the flower in it. It was actually really fun, and I think it turned out well.
Let's see, I have a couple more loose things to show you before I move on into another sketchbook.
These drawings were done when I started posting on this social media called Amino, and there were a lot more figure studies and a couple more polished things in this one. I also started doing a little series of Oron High School Host Club drawings.
Now, honestly, from those older works to this sketchbook, I feel like there's quite a bit of a jump sometimes, and I'm not sure where that came into play. But this sketchbook was the summer I started this. I remember this piece before 8th grade. It was the summer before 8th grade.
In the beginning of the sketchbook, you can actually see a lot of referenced pictures, either from anime or from realism, and I thought that was really interesting how I started using more references in these later sketchbooks.
Okay, I actually want to pause right here. This was a new style I was going to end up developing, and it's kind of fun. Like, the eyes are different, and I think just the overall simplicity of it was a lot different than what I had been doing at this point in my art journey. And I really thought that I was going to keep this style for a while, but I didn't end up doing a lot with it, but it was really simple. So I think before I move on in the sketchbook, I'm going to find something real quick. Okay, I grabbed it. I don't know if I pulled these out of the sketchbook or what, but here are some more of that style that I wanted to show you.
So after I started getting my markers, I went back and colored a lot of the old sketches that I did, so that's where those came from. And you can kind of see the progression of the style. I kind of did more and more details throughout it. And I really think it's cute, but I think I turned away from it in the end because I just like drawing eyes. Like, it was part of the art that I liked. Like, I enjoyed doing that, so I didn't want to get rid of that part of my style.
Oh wow, this is a self-portrait. This is after I cut my hair then. Wow, that's interesting. I never finished that. Oh, another piece that I can show you finished right here. So it looks like I went through two phases. I did like a coloring swatch before I moved on to the actual piece. This is the first time I got a very small set of Copic markers. So I think that's when I drew this, and then I finished it out like this. Also at that time I took an older sketch and made it into a final piece here, but I don't think I ever finished it. This was as far as I went with it. I think I was going to do some sort of starry background, but I never got around to finishing it. And that's all for this sketchbook, guys. I actually have a date when I finished this. It was January the 2nd, 2018. So at the very end of the year, or very beginning of that year, I guess. So only 2 years ago is when I finished this sketchbook, and that's pretty crazy for a lot of the things that are in here. So again, following the trend, I have a couple more loose leaves to show you before we move on. These were around the time that I finished that sketchbook, so I'm not sure exactly when they fall into this, but I'm just going to show you them anyways.
These drawings in here, I think, are the ones that I pulled out of my sketchbook a lot and kind of colored them with a light box. So you can see a lot more marker usage, and I even, well, I did a lot of marker, but I even used this giant piece of paper you see here for mixed media work, and this one was still done in my sketchbook paper, so I don't know how I got the good blending and stuff, but I managed to do it, and I was really proud of this piece. It was pretty interesting. It was the first, so I drew someone else's character, and I think it was a really fun experience to draw that for someone else. But yeah, I really liked this piece and how it turned out at the time.
And this was a draw it again I did. You can see, I don't know the dates on these, but they're probably a year apart about, so that was kind of interesting to see. And now we're moving on into a lot of the stuff I did during school. So this is also pretty spread out for dates. Like, you can tell this was the old style that I had, but some of the stuff is more recent. So I would say this spans anywhere from 8th to 10th. No, probably 8th to 9th grade, maybe a little bit of 10th, but we'll see. So I'm just going to flip through it.
And I'm gonna have to end the video here, guys. I'm gonna use this little sped up section to outro the video for you all. But I'll also describe a few things for school-wise. I did a lot more abstract things in school because I was bored, so you can see there's a lot of random things, random creatures I made up, sometimes reference people from my classes, but yes, there's a lot of more random things. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'm so excited to show you the rest of this sketchbook tour like next week, probably the same date next week. And this was an extra video. I am still going to be creating a piece of art for this Saturday, but I wanted to start making a few more videos for behind the scenes, so this is a part of that, and hopefully I'll upload those every single Wednesday, but we'll see how it goes. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. See you next time. Bye.